Hello learners, and welcome to week 27 of Modern World 2. We're going to continue with continuity and change since the Cold War. And this week we are focusing on checkpoint number 3, your evidence-based explanation. I'm going to explain exactly how to do that. There are some steps involved with it. Okay, so you're going to go down to checkpoint number 3, where you are going to see this information where it says using your research on your current events issue connected to the phenomena of change and continuity. We're going to support this with a timeline making these connections. So I'm going to get into more detail. This is exactly what you're turning in here, which will be a document, evidence-based explanation. You can kind of put it in there. Then you're going to copy and paste your timeline from the researching the Cold War topic. So the timeline would be down here after you do a little bit more research, which everything will make more sense once you get into the classroom. Okay, so your learning target is I can successfully describe the most significant impact of U.S. Cold War actions on South America. And you're going to think about your lesson from last week with the U.S. and South America during the Cold War. Can you recall what was the most significant impact of U.S. Cold War actions on South America? So that should have been a question you answered. Can you remember what countries were involved? And this week, we are going to select a current event issue and connect it with the idea of what things have changed and what things have continued. Okay, so I did a what do I need to do this week because this can be a little bit confusing. So the first activity you're going to do is you're going to go in and find what you believe is a definition of change and continuity, looking it up, whatever you need to do, and then have you seen examples of change? Where have you seen examples of change in the documents we have looked at? What have you seen that has continued? Okay. And then you're going to read this article on South America as a battlefield in the new Cold War. Good article, only about a year old. And then again, what do I need to do this week? You're going to select a Cold War topic to kind of trace it and look at what happened from the Cold War up until modern day. So go through this and look through the topics and really think about, is this a topic for me? Do I find this interesting? Okay, because you're gonna have to do a little bit of research with this, okay? You can definitely pick the topic outside of this. This is just a couple of things. You can pick another topic you'd be interested in the Cold War and follow it from the time of the Cold War till today, see what things have continued, what things have changed, and then researching your Cold War topic then and now. So once you have a topic, you're going to look at how it was in the past and then now, and then you're going to create a timeline at the bottom. This timeline is what eventually goes into your checkpoint for the week. Then you are going to, the evidence-based explanation says you make a clear connection to the phenomena of change and continuity. You're going to provide evidence that shows the connection from then and now, and then clear explanations of how the evidence connects to and shows the phenomena of continuity and change. So basically, you're looking at, the Cold War, what happened then and what has continued today? What has changed from today? Really look at the state of that country. Okay, and you're gonna put your first draft there. Now, as far as feedback, I can look at it, which I will be looking at it. It would not hurt to have a parent or guardian also look at this as well to make sure that it does make sense. And then after, I look at it, have somebody else look at it, which I would probably start with a parent or guardian. You can put your second draft down below after you make sure it's your best work to turn in them. Okay, and like I said, you will be turning in the evidence-based explanation as well as the timeline. Okay, so that's what gets turned in. Okay, so I put some good readings in here. South America, Nicaragua. Just look at the presentation for Nicaragua. There's a video that talks about imperialism in Latin America, and there's a Quizlet on the Nicaraguan Civil War. And then after learning about the Cold War in South America, why is South America a battlefield in the new Cold War? Please answer this question in a brief paragraph using information from your readings. This would be a good reading to use, hint, hint. And eventually you are going to take the Nicaraguan Civil War quiz. And then, like I said, your elaborate for the week is going into checkpoint number 3 and turning in the timeline as well as really looking at the evidence and starting to create your own research. Okay, so checkpoint is going to be partly from the then and now activity, as well as completing the evidence base. And then it's going to be the rubric for this is right here. Okay, and then what new information have I learned from this lesson? Okay, and then again, we went through the Cold War, we looked at Latin America, we investigated Latin America, we looked at the politics, the economy, what are the lasting consequences of the Cold War. We looked at the impact, such as how the Cold War initiated destabilization in Latin American countries, led to immigration problems. Using all the information, you then identify which United States actions had the most significant impact, which we did. And then you're going to dive deeply into one long-term consequence of the Cold War, which we are doing this week, and trace the development of that issue. Building a timeline reveals how it was evolved since the Cold War. And then finally, you assert how your timeline demonstrates change and continuity. Okay, and then again, part one of the project, before we can think about what has changed and what has stayed continuous since the Cold War, we need to understand the Cold War, which we do. Latin America, key moments with change and continuity. And then part two, many of the issues we debate in politics today can be traced back to the Cold War. The Cold War presents many moments of change as well as examples of continuity, and we have to understand the past to really help us understand the future and the present. Okay, COG skills, again, argumentative claim, picking your evidence, explaining your evidence, all things that you should be good at and have done many times. Organizing the information, constructing an evidence-based explanation, pulling that information out. And then the habit of curiosity, you are curious about, and how being curious about the past can help us better understand the present and the future. Okay, so any questions or comments, please reach out. I know this is a lot, but I have confidence that you will do a very good job at this, and then this is stuff you will use for the final project. Okay, thanks so much. Bye.